In this video, we're going to go over why BDS was able to beat G2 7 rounds on Kafe. BDS decides to go for a tall roam on their bakery defense. By tall roam, what I mean is they start very high up on the third floor, and they sink down onto the first floor at the minute mark. Frankly, I think that this round should have gone in favor of G2. It really just breaks down when Citizen gets the initial kill onto Shaiko and then decides to swing and get the Legion, who had just been pinged. Citizen dies to a Valkyrie who's in sight, and then the attack just kind of forgets that Legion was still on that ping, and so Uno finds himself in a 1v4. BDS decides to reattempt defending the top floor. A very cool impact trick here from Renshiro. We'll actually see that again on G2 side using those impacts to deny the Habana pellets from the floor. This round G2 loses because they don't take any more control than New Balcony and Cigar Shop. The obvious vacant area is inside of Piano, which they never step foot in. Because G2 have so little control, they're forced to flood and go for kills. Despite the man advantage, BDS is able to repel most of the first wave, ends up in a 3v2 situation, and it's just unlucky that Uno accidentally team kills the planter. Back to Bakery, G2 actually makes really good time in clearing the top floor and starting to do vertical pressure at minute 30. No team has ever hit a bigger wall than G2 does against the Smoke inside of VIP. Smoke completely maximizes his value by delaying the push for 45 seconds, and it's not until the last 10 seconds that G2 is able to Habana the freezer wall. This is one of those rounds where as BDS you don't think that you actually won the round necessarily. It was really more G2 wasn't able to do anything. On BDS's last defense, they decide to go reading. This time, BDS throws a Mira in stacks or tarp looking into Piano and accompanies that with a mute jammer, which prevents G2 from being able to remove the mirror window from Piano safely. BDS successfully delays the push into Cocktail. It's only until about a minute left that G2 starts doing vertical play, and forced to rush for a plant, BDS aren't able to drone out the anchor, still sitting behind the bookshelf. One thing I want to bring up right now is that BDS brought denial to prevent Habana from being able to breach open those walls, but G2 won't. G2 decides to defend Kitchen with a tall roam, the roamers mostly being inside of mining, playing the vertical holes, and BDS responds by going straight bakery. Early into the round, G2 is already down 2 players, to the roamers especially. One critique I do have on the way that Maestro plays his situation is while you have a teammate who's still above in mining, you don't have to be worried about the vertical pressure that exists or any vertical pressure that exists. So I think he actually played more aggressively towards Kitchen instead of sinking into freezer. BDS decides to send IQ late to remove the vertical support that G2 had. Next, we have 2 reading defenses from G2. In both rounds, there's really just one thing to blame, and that's operator composition from G2 side. If you know anything about BDS, they almost always bring 2 hard breachers on a lot of maps where other teams don't. And one of those hard breachers is always Habana. And I just have to wonder why G2 decided not to bring a bandit or a mute in order to prevent the hard breach from distance to remove those black windows inside of stack/tarp. Final round on Kafe. Actually a really interesting idea here from G2, which is to impact trick the Habana pellets as they try to breach open the black window. But Habana has more X-Kairos than Echo has impacts. A bit of miscoordination, I think, from G2's end. In the 2v3 situation that they were in, Pengu decides to get aggressive, climbing up white stairs, and Citizen on Jaeger decides to cower inside of Wedding. Both sides should get aggressive, and they should try to do it together to try to retake, say, vertical control. but the way that the two did it without one another was not the play, evident in their loss versus BDS on Kafe.